YouTube, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to talk about makeup essentials for teenagers. Whether you're a parent or a teenager watching this, I'm going to show you what you need in your makeup bag. Check it out. Alright guys, let's get started. So you're a teenager or you're a parent of a teenager, and whether or not it's you or your parent, you're starting off this journey and you don't know where to get started because there's so many products on the market and there's so many YouTube videos of probably stuff you shouldn't be doing depending on your age. Now if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, it's going to vary, but everyone starts at a different age and it depends on your parents. Always ask permission if you're a teenager watching this, whether or not you can wear makeup, because you don't want to go and upset your parents. It's just not a good thing. And if you're a parent and you just don't know what age your child should be starting off their makeup journey, that's up to you. I mean, it's all preference. I started off really young because I was a dancer and I had to wear makeup, and I was in modeling and I was in pageants, and there were things that I started off a lot younger than most girls. But the key to that is my mom always believed that you should start off at a makeup counter. So she took me to Clinique, and we took my nieces there when they hit that age where they wanted to start wearing makeup. And we did get their parents' permission, and I think it is key because Clinique is a very good derma-friendly product, and it's very, very good for young girls to learn how to apply. A lot of their artists and their sales associates are very experienced Clinique makeup artists. So they're going to show them different techniques. They're going to show them what products they really need and what they don't really need. Now, don't buy into all of it. There's some that are going to continue trying to sell you on things. So that's where I come in. I'm just going to tell you the essentials of what your child really needs. You can hire somebody privately. You can actually go on my website, glamfitcollection.com. If you live in the Sacramento, California area and you are looking for makeup lessons, you can definitely contact me through my website, and I will come to your house and give your child makeup lessons. So that's another alternative. Or you can go to a Clinique counter, a MAC counter, but I even say MAC might be a little too much if your child's around the 13 to 16 range and you just don't want to wear a lot of makeup. I would stick to more basic makeup companies. Now, grant you, the problem with that is they are going to try to sell you on a ton of things. So if you are a parent that doesn't really want to do that and you just want to know what to buy them, that's where I'm going to come in, and I'm going to show you what you really need and what you really don't need. And there's a lot of affordable makeup now. So there are a plethora of options when it comes to makeup companies that really cater to teenage girls and affordability, because you just don't really need to be spending an arm and a leg on a mascara that your child's going to need to throw away in 3 months, and we'll get into that. So let's start off with the basics and just kind of focus on that, and anything beyond that is up to you and your child and where you want to go with that. And it also depends on the activities, whether it's just a normal everyday or if they're going to a dance competition or a play or somewhere where they want to wear some makeup, a pageant. And I can get into that in a more specific video for that. And I actually did teach a class recently on dance competition makeup, so that could be a whole nother video. But let's just stick to basics. What do they really need? What should they be wearing and what shouldn't they be wearing at that age? Now, if I was a parent, and I'm not a parent, so I can't really say, I probably would start allowing my daughter to wear makeup probably around 14, 15 range. I think once they start getting into high school, like their freshman year and even 8th grade, they kind of start feeling like they want to add a little something. And it just may make them, I think the biggest thing is making them understand that makeup is not going to make them pretty. Being pretty is coming from the inside. And until they can understand that and grasp that, I don't think they're ready to wear makeup. So just knowing that makeup only enhances your inner beauty and enhances the beautiful qualities that you have, and not that it makes you prettier because you're wearing makeup. So until they can understand that and have that maturity, I think is when they're ready to wear makeup. Again, I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, that's kind of where I would base it off of. And again, that really depends too, because if my daughter's in dance, she's going to start wearing makeup younger anyway. So for everyday makeup, and this is what I want to concentrate, this is all they need. Now, a child at that age is not going to have stuff to cover up. Unless they have blemishes and stuff like that, but they're not going to need a lot of skincare products. If they do want to do a moisturizer, they tend to have drier skin. There are great moisturizers on the market. Neutrogena is a wonderful company, over the counter, affordable, good moisturizers that will cater to a teenage girl. Now, I think Clinique also has a wonderful water-based moisture surge. It's what I use as an adult, as a 40-year-old woman, but this is another one, but it's going to be pricier. So you can get a Neutrogena, like Hydro Boost, I think is that brand, that line of Neutrogena, where it's going to give you that water-based type moisturizing solution. But do they really need a moisturizer? I don't know. It just depends on your child, or you as a teenager, whether or not your skin's really dry or not. Do you really need it? Probably not. Do older women need it like me? Yes, we definitely need a moisturizer. Now, as far as primers go, I really don't think you need a primer. But if you were to have a primer, there are a lot of good primers by like NYX Cosmetics. e.l.f. Cosmetics has really good primers, but you really don't need a primer. That's just adding on extra. But if you really want one, stick to like Too Faced Hangover RX infused with coconut water. You don't need a lot of extra stuff going on. You don't want to negatively impact your skin at such a young age. So I really don't think you need a primer. But if you really want one, I would say like the Too Faced, or I would say NYX Cosmetics has really great ones, or e.l.f. Cosmetics. And there are so many different kinds that cater so many different skin types. So stick to one of those. Benefit Professional is another good one. You can do the travel size version of that and go a little bit cheaper to see if you like it, to see if your skin gets used to it. And just remember, if you purchase anything at Ulta, it is returnable within 60 days if you have your receipt. So, always keep that in mind, that it's not like once you buy it, you're stuck, because if it doesn't affect your skin very well, you definitely want to be able to return it or exchange it for something that does work better for your skin type or your child's skin type. I think Ulta is a great store for a teenager. I think Sephora is great for older girls, but I think for a teenage girl, stick to Ulta. You get the $3.50 off coupons on the drugstore side and the affordable brand side, and then you get sometimes 20% off of prestige products, but you always rack up points. Join the Ultimate Rewards program. It's free, and you can build points and use those towards future purchases. So if you're a teenager, or if you're a parent of a teenager, I would stick to Ulta or any kind of drugstore, just because you really shouldn't be spending that much money on your child for makeup. Or if you're a teenager using your hard-earned money, you shouldn't be spending it all on makeup, okay? So think of that in that respect. And there's so many great brands now that are at affordable price points. So I am going to stick to that price range, because I don't think you should be buying Giorgio Armani makeup for a teenage girl. I mean, to each their own. If you want to do that, go ahead. But personally, if I was a parent, I wouldn't be spending that kind of money on my child. It's not going to happen. I'd rather buy her something else. So that is my 2 cents on that. Take it or leave it. Now, as far as like makeup, again, they don't have a lot to cover up. So I wouldn't suggest going and piling on these thick foundations for a teenager. And even some of the drugstore brands, they have great foundations. I know Maybelline has a great one with that Super Stay 24-hour coverage. L'Oreal, Infallible, they're wonderful foundations, but for girls like me, or for girls 25 and older. But if you have like 13 to 20, your skin is not in that range where you need that full coverage. You just don't. You may feel like you do, but again, that's going back to insecurities and having to address those issues. So stick to very light foundations if you're going to use any kind of foundation, or powders. Powders are really good. Like Bare Essentials has a really good powder. A good starter line. Clinique has a really good starter line for kids. Or for teenagers, I should say. It's going to be more breathable to their skin. So you just don't want anything that's going to look cakey at that age. It's not okay. I mean, it's not okay for them to think that makeup is going to make them more beautiful because they have a blemish, or they have scars, or they have other stuff. We have to train these kids to say that makeup is just to enhance their inner beauty. And grant you, I am a makeup girl. I love makeup. I do. I love makeup so much, but I, as an adult, have to understand that as well. So I think it's a learning process that needs to start when kids are younger. So Catrice is another good brand for foundations. I think it's very lightweight, very liquidy, very affordable. You can find it at Ulta. as far as like Tarte Cosmetics have really good, I honestly, if I was starting off my daughter in makeup, I would probably start off in BB cream, CC creams, stuff like that, because I just feel like they're more breathable. They give you that moisturizer and coverage in one, and they just look youthful and age appropriate, I should say. So any kind of BB creams, there's so many on the market. So just find one that works good for your skin type. And again, that might be a situation where you go to Ulta, you find one, you ask a sales associate what sells the most, you know, what, because the good thing about Ulta and stores like that, so even Sephora, is that they're not going to try to sell you on one brand. They're going to tell you what brands that people come in and buy. They're not associated to one brand. And if there is a rep in there for that brand, don't get caught up in that. Find somebody that is more unbiased to a product, because they're going to show you what's best to buy for your child. But I definitely, especially if you're like 13, 14, 15 range, I would stick to BB creams. I think they're beautiful finish. They give you a little bit of coverage, but they still give you that natural youthful look, and they keep your child looking young, or they keep you, if you're 13, 14, 15-year-old watching this, keep you looking young and refreshed and beautiful. You don't want people to make fun of you for wearing too much makeup either. It can go opposite ends. So just keep that in mind. But BB creams, Tarte is a good one. I know that even the drugstore brands have some good ones. I also feel this L'Oreal 24-Hour Infallible Pro Glow is a really good foundation for younger girls. I think it kind of gives a little bit of coverage, a little goes a long way. And that's another thing, is to go light-handed on everything. And I'll show that, maybe I'll show that in another video, just giving an actual tutorial on how to apply it. Right now, I'm just going to talk about products, but this is a really good one to start off with as well. This Fit Me Matte Poreless is another good one, but again, this would be like more my 16 to 20 range. I wouldn't recommend it for like 13-year-olds. I wouldn't recommend any foundation for 13-year-olds. I just don't think that's appropriate. I think if anything, a BB cream, maybe in that 13 to 15 range, but that's just all preference, or just like a little bit of powder. I also feel like any of the Bare Essential powders are really good for that younger girl range too, because it gives a little bit of coverage. It's still in a powder form. Again, if you're 13 to 15, just stay away from foundations. You just don't need all that coverage. You're not covering up anything. And if you do have a blemish or something like that, use a concealer and just spot conceal and just get those little areas and just hit it with like a beauty blender and just blend it in, and then put like a BB cream over it, or just like a little bit of a tinted powder over it. Like CoverGirl has some good tinted powders that are, Maybelline has some good tinted powders, the Fit Me collection. So just remember, you don't want to cake on makeup on a 13 to 15-year-old child. I just don't think it's appropriate. So find stuff that has like a natural finish, that can create that beautiful, flawless, natural finish, but not overdo it. So just keep that in mind. Again, I think the best thing is to either take them somewhere or hire somebody to give them a makeup lesson, because it's going to teach them how to do it too. Because you can buy all these products, but if you don't know how to apply it, you know, that can go wrong as well. So that is a key to like just the base part. And as far as like an essential, I would just say like a BB cream would be all they need. They don't need a primer. They don't need a moisturizer. They don't even really need concealer at that point. I mean, unless they have under eye dark circles, which I highly doubt. Maybe if they're 9th, 10th grade range, that's when they would start getting into concealer. But honestly, I don't even really think they need it at that point. But to each their own, right? So I can't say. I mean, I never used concealers when I was a teenager at that age. Probably didn't start using concealers till I was like 20, over 20. So, you know, I just don't feel like it's needed. But, you know, who knows? I mean, a lot of young girls, you know, experience acne or blemishes, or they're at that hormonal stage of their life. So I get they want to cover it up. Now, as far as concealers go, there isn't a lot of drugstore ones I like. I know the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop is pretty good, but you just want to be careful. You don't want anything with a lot of coverage. I know Makeup Revolution has a couple of good concealers. Now for women like me, it's not going to be enough coverage, and it's going to crease and all that stuff. So we have a little bit more texture and fine lines to worry about. But when you're a teenager, you don't have to worry about that. So you can go for those lighter concealers. So the MAC Studio Fix is going to be a little bit on the higher end. I think it's like 22, still less than like a Tarte Tarte Shape Tape, but it's very thin. The consistency is very thin on this concealer. So this is a really good one to start off with. I think I'm MC20, so NC25, NC20, I can go either way. But try to find ones that are kind of more the skin tone of your child. And if you're a teenager watching this, really match your skin tone. You don't need to do lighter concealers to really like highlight and all that stuff, because you just don't really need that at 13, 14, 15 range. Now, as you get older, you can start getting into stuff like that, but stick to making yourself look like a 13, 14, 15-year-old. You don't need to look like a 20-year-old. Hold on to that youth. Trust me, at almost 41, I wish I could hold on to that youth. And really, you just want, most importantly, you just want that inner glow. You want to find stuff that's going to make you glow within. So stick to stuff like that. Use sprays, like Pixie has really good sprays by Petra. Petra was a supermodel, I want to say, that started a line at Target, and it's called Pixie, and they have really great products for teenagers, and just like glowing products, glowing sprays. Use those type of products. I don't purchase those because I can't, a lot of them affect my skin, but also make sure if you're a teenager and you have acne prone skin to really be careful on what you're putting on your face. You don't want to put too many oils on your face, because it's just going to accentuate your blemishes more. It's going to aggravate your blemishes more. So really be careful when it comes to stuff like that. Stick to more skin sensitive products if you are on that acne prone side. So just be cautious of that. Now, as far as eyebrows go, you don't need to do your eyebrows, but if you just want to just like kind of like you know, tame them down, the only product I would recommend is the Benefit Give Me Brow, or any kind of brow gel. You can find any of them. Even the drugstore ones are pretty good. Like NYX has a good one. I think L'Oreal has a good one. So any kind of like, it looks like a mascara wand, that would be the only thing I would recommend for like eyebrows for a teenager. I don't think you need to get into pencils and stuff like that. I mean, if you do, you absolutely are so self-conscious of your brows and there's sparse areas, you can fill it in with like a pencil, like a really thin pencil. Like the Benefit Precisely My Brow is a good brow pencil, but again, like I just don't really think you need to, you probably have perfect brows at this point in your life. So just embrace that for right now. So the only product I would really, really, really recommend if you wanted to do or just tame your brows would be like a clear brow gel or a Gimme Brow by Benefit. And what you could do is go to the Benefit counter and just ask them, you know, like, this is my daughter, or I'm 13, 14, and I kind of want to get into brows, and let them suggest some products. But just stick to one product. You don't need a ton of products. You're young, and embrace that. Now, as far as bronzers and blushes go, you don't really need a blush. I mean, or you need one or the other, I would say. I don't think you need both. I personally, if I was a parent, would get my daughter Hoola bronzer. And again, I talk about this in every single video because I just love this stuff. And they have the Hoola Light if you're more on the fair side. But this bronzer is going to be so beneficial for you or your child at that age, because basically it's going to give them like that color, and also the eyeshadow. If they wanted to wear a little bit of eyeshadow, they can use this as an eyeshadow, or just gives them like that little kiss of bronze effect. You can use like this Morphe R14. Morphe brushes are really good for kids. I'll go into that in a second, but you know, you would just like give it like that sun-kissed look. And that's all you need. As a teenager, that is all you need, is a sun-kissed look. You don't need blushes and all that. If you were to get into blushes and you do like that blush look for your child or for yourself, then Milani has some great baked blushes. This is number 22 in Milani, and this is a beautiful like gold tone blush, and you can use this as a bronzing type effect on your cheekbones. If you don't want to use a bronzer, this is a really good blush. Or any MAC blushes are really good. I like peaches. I think it is a standard color for any age. I think it's very age appropriate. You just want to go light-handed on it because you don't want to like give that clown effect. And if you're not very professional and you're young and you're just starting off with makeup, you have to be really careful. And I'll go into the brushes that you'll need for that in just a second. But honestly, if I was a parent, I would just stick to Hoola bronzer for my kid. I don't think they need a blush and all that, unless they're like into dance competitions and pageants and stuff like that. Then you want a little bit more color. But for every day, all you need is like a BB cream and some bronzer just to bring your skin back to life. The bronzer is only just kind of bringing that back once you put the powders or foundations or BB creams, whatever you use. This is just going to bring you back to life. So definitely bronzer. Don't really need eyebrow stuff unless you need that. And then mascaras, pretty much that's it. That's all I would recommend. And mascaras, stick to drugstore mascaras. Don't go buy high-end mascaras for your 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old daughter. I just don't think that you should be spending $25 on a mascara when you have to throw it away in 3 months. And that's what I want to talk about, because mascara is you have to worry about the hyperallergenic part of it. You want to make sure that your child is not sharing mascaras with other teenagers. If you're a teenager watching this, don't share any of your makeup. Really just kind of stick to your own makeup. And honestly, I just think that's the best way to do it, but especially mascaras. Now, 2 mascaras I really liked, and I used this as a teenager, was the L'Oreal Voluminous. I think it is I like the waterproof. You can do non-waterproof as well, but waterproof because who knows, somebody at school make you cry, or you may sweat, or whatever the case is. The waterproof won't go smearing all over the place. So I would stick to waterproof, especially as a teenager. And as an adult, I would stick to waterproof. And then the Maybelline Lash Discovery is my other favorite one. This really just separates. And they can get into eyelash curlers. I mean, I don't think that that's a problem, in my opinion. You can get an eyelash curler anywhere. Just kind of curl the lashes, do a couple pumps. And another thing is do not pump your mascaras. Don't do this, kids. Don't do this. Okay, it's awful. I'm going to throw this away anyway, but I'm not going to show you because it's the new one. But don't pump it, because what you're doing is you're allowing air to get into that mascara, and it can actually create more bacteria. And you're going to have to throw it out sooner. So rule of thumb is don't pump, and don't use your mascara more than 3 months. Even if it's not dried out, throw it away, because bacteria has formed in there at that point, and you don't want to go past 3 months. So that's rule of thumb, is don't go past 3 months on your mascara. And that's why at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you shouldn't be buying $25 mascaras, because you're gonna throw them away in 3 months. So keep that in mind. There are too many amazing drugstore affordable mascaras on the market that you don't have to go spend an arm and a leg to go throw it away in 3 months. So, and I just say that because I just feel like kids are going to be a little more careless about their makeup products. So you really want to understand that if they break a palette, that's it. The store's not going to take that back. You know, they're going to see a broken palette. So just keep that in mind. The more money, there's too many affordable makeup lines now to go spend a tremendous amount of $50 on a palette that a kid's going to break. So just keep that in mind. The good thing about Benefit, I'm not crazy about the packaging, but the good part is it's in cardboard, and if it drops, it's less likely to break. So that's what I like. I think Benefit, the entire brand, is a great above drugstore, but not as high end as like Hourglass or some of the other really expensive products. I think it's like kind of that middle range where it's really good for teenagers, and it's really made for teenagers, because I also think their foundations are very light. They brought out that new foundation line last year, and it is very beautiful. It's perfect for teenagers that want a little bit more. Maybe they're in that 16, 17 range where they want more coverage than a BB cream, but they don't want to look cakey, and they don't want to look thick, and they don't have a lot to cover up. I think Benefit is a great line for children, and Clinique. I think those 2 lines are perfect for teenagers. Now, as far as like setting powders go, if you're going to use a foundation, no matter what age you are, you should set it. So stick to like setting powders like Maybelline has a good setting powder, the loose powders. Just stick to the loose powders. And use like just a fluffy brush, any fluffy brush. But Real Techniques is a good dupe for IT Cosmetics, and they have a lot of similar brushes with the same kind of quality, maybe not as high end, but similar quality that's gonna get the job done for somebody who has pretty much flawless skin at that point when they're that age. So Real Techniques is a great brand to start your kids off on. And they have so many different brushes out there. So you will find them anywhere from Target to Walmart to Walgreens to Ulta. But again, I always feel like Ulta, you're going to get the best bang for your buck, because you're going to get reward points for it, and it's going to go towards your next purchase. So you're going to get all those drugstore brands at Ulta. So you might as well just shop there. It's a one-stop shop. Plus you can go get your Benefit stuff. So you get your high ends and your low ends, and look for those coupons for even the high ends. A lot of times you can get those like twice a year, those 20% off coupons for prestige brands. So use them towards that. It's a great way to save money. Now, as far as like an affordable bronzer, I do think Wet n Wild has amazing bronzers. So I feel like this is a pretty good dupe to the Hoola. This is the Wet n Wild contouring palette, and I think it is amazing, and even has like a highlighter on the other side. So that is a great little dupe, and I think Wet n Wild is really come out with a bang last year, and they have so many great products. Now, if your child does want to wear a highlighter, which this is optional, this is not an essential, Wet n Wild and Pixie by Petra are two of my favorite drugstore highlighters. Oh my goodness, they have the most beautiful, I mean, you guys need to see this. This is gorgeous. Hold on, let me find that brush I want. So a good highlighting brush, and I didn't want to get into my brushes yet, but since I'm showing you the Wet n Wild highlighter, I'm just going to show you. This is the Morphe 501. I love this brush. It's like $6. And look at this highlighter. I mean, come on now. This is like expensive highlighter, but for $2.99. Expensive quality highlighter, but for $2.99. It's crazy how good this Wet n Wild highlighter, and their blushes are really good too. So again, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on your child's makeup at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, those are some pretty good affordable drugstore brands that just give you a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, it's crazy how good the pricing is. So as far as like essentials, honestly, that's it. That's all they need. If they want to get into like eyeshadows and highlighters, again, those highlighters, even the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighters are really good. They pretty much all three of these highlighters will equal out to like a Becca or Ofra or some of the Anastasia, some of the other really expensive highlighters. Those are pretty much great dupes for the cost. And then as far as eyeshadows go, honestly, I would just stick to very natural eyeshadows, especially at 13, 14, 15. I don't even know if 13 should be wearing eyeshadow, but 14, 15, just the Hoola bronzer. I mean, all they need to do is put in their crease. I'll do a tutorial on that, but that's a good one. As far as like if they really want to get into eyeshadows, I feel like ColourPop is a very, and Morphe. Those two are very good brands at affordable price points to get into eyeshadow palettes. This is a little bit on the brighter side, but there's a more neutral tone one too, this ColourPop. But oh my gosh, the pigmentation on this line is like Morphe. It's so good. And I just feel like, I mean, they could go with these color selections too, but there's more natural ones that they can really get into. But I think this is like $14 for all of these eyeshadows, so it's not bad. And then Morphe, again, like you're gonna spend like $15, $20 on a huge palette. So any Morphe shadow is really good, and any ColourPop shadow is really good. Tarte is another good one, but it's gonna be a little bit more pricey. You're gonna run like a little palette like this for like, which is great, the neutral tones, but it's gonna run like more like $35 to $40 versus like $15 for all of these shadows, right? So not a bad deal. But if they're 13, I don't know if they should be using all those colors. So I really think, you know, if they really wanted to do some type of shadow, just go with the Hoola bronzer. But at 15, 16, 17, they may start wanting to get into more eyeshadow looks. So just stick to brands like that. I mean, just like I said, there are so many affordable brands that just give you the same quality as your higher end brands. So I mean, even as an adult, I'm going to go, which one should I buy? You know, if I'm going to, for me, I'm going to go buy the one that I feel like produces the best, no matter how much it costs. So if it's for an adult, for 40-year-old woman, I'm going to go, okay, so does this Morphe palette, this James Charles palette at $39 perform better than this Anastasia palette at $50? Yeah, it does. So think about those things too. Don't always go by the price point. Sometimes the affordable may produce better quality than the high-end one. So keep that in mind. But that's just kind of blabbering. So as far as like essentials, you have the BB cream, the bronzer, the mascara, maybe an eyelash curler, and maybe some brow product. That's all they need. Now, if they want to get into eyeshadow and lipsticks, and stick to like lip glosses and chapsticks and stuff like that. They don't need, or lip stains. They don't need lipstick. They shouldn't be wearing lipstick at 13 years old. That's my opinion. So if they do, I would stick to like lip glosses, and there's so many drugstore lip glosses out there. I don't have a lot of them. I have more high-end ones, but I do need to start collecting some more lip glosses on the low end side. But I do know that NYX Cosmetics has beautiful lip glosses and very, very affordable, and so does ColourPop. ColourPop has gorgeous, gorgeous lip glosses for like $5 or $6. I am a huge fan. I'm going to do a whole tutorial on ColourPop. I just find that their products are so good, and they even have concealers that would be perfect for teenagers, and you'll find that at Ulta. Now, I think that's it as far as makeup goes. And then as far as brushes and tools, they are going to need a beauty blender. A beauty blender is essential to your makeup kit, no matter what age you are. It just blends it out seamlessly, especially for teenagers when it comes to like foundations. Brushes will deposit a little bit more color. Beauty blender will give it more of that natural finish, is what they want, especially with like BB creams and stuff like that. And sometimes BB creams do go on better with brushes, so it really just depends. But again, stick to the Real Technique brushes if you're going to use brushes, and they all will say on the set what they do individually. So it'll be self-explanatory. You'll be able to read it and go, okay, that's what that's for. But always invest in some type of makeup sponge. I like the Morphe sponges. This one's like $7 at Ulta or Morphe stores. And this is a great, great beauty sponge. The new Jeffree Star one, if your kid watches, they probably love Jeffree Star. He has the pink one now, which of course I had to go buy because I love pink. And it comes with 2 other little miniature ones. So that's a good deal. I think it's like $16 is all I spent on that, and you get 3 sponges. So the Real Techniques, again, has a wonderful sponge for like $6. So you can't go wrong. It's very inexpensive. Might even be a little bit cheaper than that. So beauty sponges, definitely get them a beauty sponge, and always make sure it's dampened. It has to be dampened. Go and put it underneath the sink, dampen it, get it nice and moist before they go and apply their makeup. I will do a whole tutorial on how to apply a natural 13, 17-year-old range type makeup and how you can build from 13 to 17. So comment below if you want to see that. As far as makeup tools, they don't need a whole lot because they're not going to be using a whole lot. So if they were to use eyeshadow or any kind of like Hoola bronzer as an eyeshadow, they just want that natural look, a MAC 224 or a Morphe 441. Morphe 441 or a MAC 224. I will show the pictures up there. Those are the only brushes they will need. The MAC is going to be on the higher end side. It's going to be probably like around $25, around that price range. And then the Morphe is going to be like $6, $7. It's not that much. So it's like half the price. That is a great, those 2 brushes, whether or not, you don't need both of them, but one or the other are going to be perfect to give that natural diffused eyeshadow look that's perfect for a teenager. Now, as far as like more detailed, if they wanted to go in and give a little bit more eye look, they don't really need it. But if they did, another good E28 is another good, it's a little bit denser, and it's a good Morphe brush. But other than that, they really don't need to do all that. They don't need to be going into all that. Not at that age. And then a highlighter brush. If they were going to use a highlighter brush, I would go with the Morphe 501. It'll give them more of a natural highlight versus a more pigmented highlight. So they don't need that. They just need a little bit of glow. And as far as like a bronzer brush, I like this Morphe R14. This is a really good bronzer brush. But again, Real Techniques will come in sets sometimes where it'll have like a bronzer brush, a blush brush, a face brush. Just go with those because you'll get a full package of like, for like $12, you'll get like 6 brushes. So it's not bad. Real Techniques is a perfect brand for a teenager. I can't keep reiterating that enough. All right, guys, that's it. So those are all the products that you would need if you were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old teenager and you really want to get into makeup, but you just didn't know where to start. I hope those products helped you. I will do a separate tutorial on actually how to apply those. But as far as like really getting your child started on their makeup journey, or if you're a teenager yourself watching this and you want to get started on a makeup journey, have your parent or take your child or whoever it is, grandchild, niece, take them to an actual makeup counter. Let them learn how to apply the makeup. I'm giving you the tools of what you need, but learning how to apply it is another story. So I will do a video on it, but definitely it's another option is to take them somewhere. If you want to hire somebody, like I actually produce those services on my website, glamfitcollection.com. You can hire somebody and have them give them a makeup lesson and just show them how to apply the makeup. And I would meet my client at Ulta and say, this is what you need to buy. We go home and we learn how to apply it. So really great service. Please take advantage of that if you live in my area. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a huge thumbs up. Set your notification bell for future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.